Do the eggs you eat come from happy hens? Tricky question. For a start, how do you measure happiness? It's proved an elusive concept even for us humans. Happiness may be elusive, but more certain is our ability to determine when an animal is not happy because it's under stress.
When an animal, including humans, are challenged, they need to make a response. Okay? And one of the common responses, or physiological responses, is an increase in hormones from the adrenal gland. And what we do is, if the magnitude of that increase or change and the duration of it really measures how much effort the animal has to place into coping with that challenge.
Much of the debate about the welfare of hens in the egg industry has centred around the way birds are housed, caged, free-range, or barn-laid. So how does the way hens are housed make them more or less stressed? Hens can't tell us the answer to this question, but science can, by looking at their eggs.
I'm looking at eggs because I kind of stumbled on the idea that we could measure stress levels in albumin as a non-invasive way of evaluating stress in hens. We don't have to handle the hen, so we don't cause her stress. We can take a large number of samples, because all we're doing is collecting eggs, and we can actually take a large number of samples over a period of time.
There's a particular hormone called corticosterone that the bird produces when it's stressed, and it's captured as a snapshot in each egg it lays.
Most animals, when they're feeling comfortable and they're coping well, they'll have a basal level of corticosterone. When they're challenged, there will be an increase, and the increase in that corticosterone in hens, for example, will depend on the intensity of the challenge and also the duration of the challenge. And so it's not so much whether it's low or high, it's the change from the base to the next level during the challenge which we are trying to measure.
Jeff collected eggs from 12 different farms across free-range, barn and cage systems every 10 weeks throughout the production cycle. 90 eggs from each. So what did the research show?
In our research, when we looked at the mean corticosterone levels in albumin for the 3 farming systems, the cage, free range or barn, we were not able to find any statistical difference between those mean levels.
So hens aren't any more stressed in a cage system than a free range one. But hang on, could it be that the hens are not getting enough stimulation? Are the hens sampled here just too bored to be stressed? Well, yes, that's possible. But if that's the case, then free-range hens are just as bored as the cage ones. What was also interesting was the housing arrangement of the hens with the lowest recorded mean levels of corticosterone.
In one flock, for experimental reasons, those birds were being housed in individual cages. And what we found with that flock was they had the highest egg production, they had the lowest mortality, and they had the lowest corticosterone levels in albumin throughout the production cycle.
And while there seemed to be no correlation between the levels of corticosterone and the type of farming system, there did seem to be a correlation between the hormone levels and the rate of production, and also the mortality rates.
When we looked at the first half of the production cycle, where there was the greatest variation between individual farms, we found that as corticosterone went up, production levels went down, and as corticosterone went up, mortality rate went up. And so both these indicate that it's an incentive for producers to make sure that they reduce stress in their flocks, to maximise production and reduce mortality.
Less stressed hens are good for egg production, and that's good news for both an industry seeking to keep up with increasing demand and proponents of hen welfare alike. So if you're a person concerned about the welfare of hens, then you and an egg farmer are on the same side.